Social network analysis is the application of network theory to the modeling and analysis of social systems. It combines the tools for analyzing social relations and the theory for explaining the structures that emerge from these social interactions. Of course, the idea of studying societies as networks is not a new one, but with the rise in computation and the emergence of a mass of new data sources, social network analysis is beginning to be applied to all types and scales of social systems, from international politics to local communities and everything in between. Traditionally, when studying societies, we think of them as composed of various types of individuals and organizations. We then proceed to analyze the properties of these social entities, such as their age, occupation, or population, and then ascribe quantitative values to them. This allows social scientists to use the formal mathematical language of statistical analysis, compare the values of these properties, and to create categories such as low-income households or Generation X. We then search for quasi-cause and effect relations that govern these values. This component-based analysis is a powerful method for describing social systems. Unfortunately, though, it fails to capture the most important feature of social reality, that is, the relations between individuals. Statistical analysis presents a picture of individuals and groups isolated from the nexus of social relations that give them context. Thus, we can only get so far by studying the individual, because when individuals interact and organize, the result can be greater than the simple sum of its parts. It is the relations between individuals that create the emergent properties of social institutions. And thus, to understand these institutions, we need to understand the networks of social relations that constitute them. Ever since the emergence of modern human beings, we've been building social networks. We live our lives embedded in networks of relations. The shape of these structures and where we lie in them all affect our identity and perception of the world. A social network is a system composed of a set of social actors, such as individuals or organizations, and a set of ties between these actors that might be relations of friendship, work colleagues, or family. Social network science then analyzes empirical data and develops theories to explain the patterns observed in these social networks. In so doing, we can begin to ask questions about the degree of connectivity within a network, its overall structure, how fast something will diffuse or propagate through it, or the influence of a given node within the network. Let's take some examples of these. Social network analysis has been used to study the structure of influence within corporations, where traditionally we see organizations of this kind as hierarchies. By modeling the actual flow of information and communications as a network, we get a very different picture, where seemingly irrelevant employees within the hierarchy can in fact have significant influence within the network. Researchers also study innovation as a process of diffusion of new ideas across networks, where the overall structure to the network, its degree of connectivity, centralization or decentralization, are defining features in the way that innovation spreads or fails to spread. Network dynamics, that is, how networks evolve over time, is another important area of research. For example, within law enforcement agencies, social network analysis is used to study the change in structure of terrorist groups, to identify the changing relations through which they are created, strengthened, or dissolved. Social network analysis has also been used to study the patterns of segregation and clustering within international politics and culture. By mapping out the beliefs and values of countries and cultures as networks, we can identify where opinions and beliefs overlap or conflict. Social network analysis is a powerful new method we now have that allows us to convert often large and dense data sets into engaging visualizations that can quickly and effectively communicate the underlying dynamics within the system. By combining the new discoveries in the mathematics of network theory with new data sources and our sociological understanding, social network analysis is offering huge potential for a deeper, richer, and more accurate understanding of the complex social systems that make up our world.